Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I hope you're ready to hear a story because I am just bursting to tell one. The question is, though, which one do I tell? There are so many stories. It's near bedtime. Maybe I could do a bedtime story.
Hey, Book Girl, there's someone at the door. Maybe they have an idea. Open it, open it.
Thanks, doorbell! Let's see who it is. Oh, that's funny. There's nobody there. Hi there.
Hi, Book Girl. Tell me a story about kangaroos. I love kangaroos.
Oh, thank you for stopping by. I love kangaroos too, and I have just the story for you. So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Paka. Paka was a normal girl in every way, except one. You see, every time Paka sneezed, she didn't just go, achoo! No, every time Paka sneezed, a kangaroo jumped out of her nose. Paka thought it was pretty nice to have a little kangaroo.
A kangaroo out of her nose? That's silly.
I know, Clarence, but sometimes the silliest stories are the most fun to tell. Now, the only problem was that Paka was a little bit messy, and her room was covered in dust. And one day, when her and her little kangaroo were in her room playing, they were jumping on the bed, and a big cloud of dust blew up. And you know what happened next? I bet you do.
Yeah, I do.
The big cloud of dust blew up and up and up until it reached Paka's funny little nose. It tickled a bit, then a bit more, until finally, achoo! And another kangaroo appeared. Achoo! Another kangaroo. Achoo!
Achoo! Achoo!
Soon the whole house was bouncing with little kangaroos. And if you think one kangaroo likes to jump, 100 kangaroos like to jump 100 times more. Well, with all that jumping, the house began to move. Every time the kangaroos jumped, the house jumped. Every time the house jumped, there was more dust to make Paka sneeze. And every time Paka sneezed,
achoo!
There was more kangaroos. And every time there was more kangaroos, well, I think you understand.
So what happened?
Well, to this very day, Paka is still sneezing, and the house is still jumping. So, if you see a little house bounce by with a little girl inside, that's Paka, the funny little girl who should have cleaned up her room. The end. Oh, Clarence, that was a really fun story to tell, but it tired me out.
Me too, but that's okay, because it's time to go. Thanks for telling us the story, Book Girl.
You're welcome, Clarence, and we will see you at the next Once Upon a Time in my special book. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I'm kind of sleepy today, so I'm in the mood for a nice quiet story. I hope you are too.
It's story time. I love story time. And what story are you going to tell us today, Book Girl?
I have a great one for you, Clarence, but I need to get something first.
What you doing, Book Girl?
Well, today's story is about great big hugs, so I needed somebody to hug. Mr. Bear should do just fine. Are you ready, Clarence?
Ready.
Now, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Mio. Every night before Mio went to bed, she loved to hug everyone in her family. Mio loved to get hugs. They made her feel warm and safe, and she wanted that feeling to never end. She not only liked when she got hugs, she loved when she gave hugs. So, the next morning, she gave the mailman a hug when he came to the door.
Why, thank you, Mio, said the mailman. I think it's going to be a good day.
And he walked away whistling a happy tune. And then at school, she gave her friend a hug.
Oh, thank you, Mio. Thank you for the hug.
And she walked away singing a happy song. Later that night, after Mio had hugged everyone in her family and had finally gone to bed, she sat in her bed thinking about how happy she could make everybody in the world if she could hug everyone. And the more she thought, the sadder she got. Even if I hug everyone in the world, starting really early in the morning and ending really late at night, there's no way I can hug everyone. And then she fell asleep, and she began to have a dream. She dreamt that her hands started to grow and grow and grow. They got so long that she couldn't see her hands. They stretched out and out of the house and down the street, across the oceans and the mountains, until finally, they wrapped all the way around the world. Mio squeezed and squeezed, giving everyone the biggest hug of her little life. The next morning, Mio woke up and she remembered her dream. But then she was off to school. And when she got to school, everybody was happy. The teachers were happy. The boys didn't tease the girls. Even the mean boy said, "Good day, Mio." Had she really done it? Thought Mio. Did I really make the world a happier place with my hug? Mio never had the dream again. But that didn't matter, because from that day on, everyone seemed happier. And that made Mio happier too. And that was what she wished for in the first place. The end.
That was a great story, Bucko. I love to get hugs just as much as Mio.
Well then, Clarence, I'm going to have to give you a great big hug.
Oh, Bucko, thanks for the hug, but it's time to go.
That's right, but we will see you next Once Upon a Time in my special book. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time, and it's raining outside. So I wonder what story I should tell today. Which one? Clarence, do you have any ideas for a story today?
I don't think so, Bucko, but you better think of a story soon because it's story time and I can't wait.
Someone's at the door. Maybe they can help. Hi there.
Hi, book girl. Here's a rhyme. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Johnny wants to play. So rain, rain, go away.
Thank you. You helped me figure out a story for today. Are you ready, Clarence?
Ready, Bucko.
Good. So get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little bird named Gilbert. And like all little birds, Gilbert loved to fly and play. And sometimes that meant getting dirty. "I think you need to wash your face, Gilbert," said his grandma. "Aw, Grandma!" You see, Gilbert didn't like to wash his face. So, when his grandma wasn't looking, he turned on the tap, and off he flew. He flew and he flew, but then he forgot something very important. He forgot to turn off the water.
Oh, no!
So the water spilled out of the sink and onto the floor, and it started to rise higher and higher. And in the meantime, Gilbert was flying higher and higher, happy as happy can be. So he didn't notice the water. He didn't notice the cows who had to float on their backs.
Cows on their backs? That's silly.
He didn't notice the dogs who had to flee to the trees. He didn't notice that the water went way past their knees. But he did notice this. Gilbert! That was his grandma. So down, down, down Gilbert flew, and then he noticed it. Where did all this water come from, Grandma? Well, Gilbert, you left the water running when you should have been cleaning your face. And this is what happened.
Oh no, Book Girl, what's Gilbert gonna do?
This is the best part, Clarence. You see, Gilbert realized he made a mistake, and he wanted to make it better. So he thought, what can I do? All I can do is fly. And then, because Gilbert thought really hard, he had an idea. He flew way past his grandma. He flew past the clouds, up and up until he got to the sun. Mr. Sun, will you help me? Said Gilbert.
Of course I will, little one.
And help the sun did. He glowed and he shone. He dried up the water until it was gone. The end. You see, Clarence, Gilbert knew he made a mistake, and he figured out a way to make it better. Now that's a happy ending.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, but it's time to go.
That's right. We will see you next, Once Upon a Time, in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And it's almost lunchtime, and I am ready to tell a story. But I am getting kind of hungry. Do you have any idea where my lunch is at, Clarence?
No, sorry, Book Girl.
What about you, Mailbox?
No, sorry.
Huh. Doorbell?
Well, I think it might be above me. Check the drawer. Look.
Okay, thanks, Doorbell. Let's have a see. It is there. And it reminds me of a really good story to tell about a little boy and his lunch.
That sounds like a funny story. I like stories about food.
Me too, Clarence. So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Diego. Diego had just started school, and one of his favorite things about starting school was that he got to bring his lunch every day. He would look inside, and there it was, another cheese sandwich. Every day a cheese sandwich. He liked the bread, that was okay. He liked the cheese, that was okay. But you put the two together, and well, so he put ketchup on it. Yuck. And then he put relish on it. Yuck. Then he put ketchup, relish, and vinegar on it.
Double yuck.
So Diego decided to never eat another cheese sandwich ever again. And he walked away and went to his classroom. But then, his stomach, it started to rumble.
And grumble.
And bumble. And he thought, I'm hungry. I think I might just have a little bitsy tiny weeny bite of my cheese sandwich. So he went back to the lunchroom, and there was a little girl nibbling away on his sandwich. Why would you want to eat that? Said Diego. It's cheese. I like cheese sandwiches. They're way better than the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I get, said the girl. Peanut butter and jelly? I love peanut butter and jelly, said Diego. And that was that. From that day on, Diego ate peanut butter and jelly, and the little girl ate cheese, and they were both as happy can be. The end. Oh, Clarence, talking about all those sandwiches made me really hungry for mine. You want a bite?
No thanks, Book Girl. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but that sure was a great story.
Thanks, Clarence.
Uh-oh, Book Girl, time to go. But don't worry, guys, because we'll be back.
That's right. We will see you next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And today I am not going to tell a story.
But Book Girl, it's story time. You always tell us a story at story time.
Don't worry, Clarence. I'm not going to tell a story, but I'm going to tell you how you can tell your own story. You want to see how? Hi, Story Stuff.
Hello, Book Girl.
Do you mind if I open you up and see if there are any stories inside?
Sure, Book Girl.
I'm sure you must have a drawer or a toy box at home where there are great stories inside. Let's have a peek. Oh!
Book Girl, you're tickling me.
Oh, sorry, Story Stuff. Ha! A ball of yarn. What could we pretend this is? Pretending is one of my favorite things. It's what you do when you take one thing and you make believe it's something else. Like, this yarn could be a bowl of spaghetti if you wanted it to be. There's somebody at the door. Let's see who it is. Hi there.
Hi, Book Girl. I have a rhyme for you. The incy-bincy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Up came the sun and dried out all the rain. And the incy-bincy spider went up the spout again.
Thank you for your rhyme. It's one of my favorites. And it gave me a really good idea of a story to tell.
How did you get an idea for a story about that, Book Girl?
Well, it's easy. Spiders like to spin webs, and webs look just like yarn. So I can pretend I'm the itsy-bitsy spider spinning my own web.
Watch out, Book Girl, you're gonna get stuck.
No, I won't, Clarence, because I am a tightrope walker at the circus.
Watch you don't fall, Book Girl. What are you gonna do now?
I am going to take a voyage on the sea. Won't you come aboard my SS Book Girl?
Oh, that's not a ship. That's your bed.
Not anymore, Story Stuff. I'm a pirate, and I'm on a pirate ship, sailing the high seas looking for buried treasure.
Aye, Captain.
There, you got it, Story Stuff. See, this is where stories come from. My bed here can be anything. It can be a boat, or an airplane, or a car. And this ball of yarn can be a spider's web, or spaghetti, or a tightrope. It can be anything you want it to be.
Now everyone can make up their own stories.
That's right, Clarence. All you need to do is use your imagination and pretend. And that's where stories come from. And there is nothing like a good story.
Time to go, Book Girl.
Oh, well.
But don't worry, because we'll be back.
That's right. We'll be back for the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
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 Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I have so many stories to tell. But the question is, where do I begin? Begin.
I have a delivery.
Oh, hi, mailbox. Do you have something for me?
I certainly do. Please take it. I'm stuffed. And frankly, it smells a little fishy.
Ooh!
Whoa, careful.
Hey, it's a little penguin! Thank you, mailbox. Little penguins are birds that can't fly. But don't feel sorry for it because it can't fly. It can swim. It can swim like a fish. And that's good because fish are what penguins like to eat. Well, that's probably why it smelled so fishy in there, mailbox. Now, penguin. Let's see. I know. A quick little story about a penguin. Are you ready, mailbox?
I can hardly wait.
Oh, you know you like stories just as much as everybody else. Now, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little penguin named Penny. Penny lived in the ice and snow, and all around her there was nothing but white, white, white. I'm tired of all this white, 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 said Penny to her mother. Don't be silly, Penny. White is what we have, and white it shall be. And with that, she waddled away. Just because things are the way they are doesn't mean that's the way they have to be, thought Penny. But what can I do? Story Stuff, can you help me?
Sure can, book girl. I got everything you need. Just reach inside, but don't tickle.
Thank you, Story Stuff. So Penny had an idea. She waddled down to the edge of the water where she knew there was some mud. It wasn't brown mud, though. It was red mud. And she jumped into the mud until all of her toes were filled with that squishy, wonderful, bright red mud. And then she carefully stepped back onto the ice and snow. And then she began to run. She ran in circles and in straight lines. She ran and ran and ran and ran until she was all out of breath. And when she looked up, all the other penguins were looking at what she had done. Well, Penny, I must admit that what you have done has made our home more beautiful than I could ever imagined. And Penny smiled her little penguin smile and knew she had made something good. The end. See what I made, Story Stuff?
That's beautiful, book girl.
And I'm sure you can make a pretty picture for your mommy and daddy, too.
Book girl, story time's over. It's time to go.
That's okay, but we will be back for our next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! I'm so glad it's story time!
Me too, book girl. It's my favorite time of the day.
Clarence knows it's story time. Doorbell knows it's story time.
I think story time is the greatest, just the greatest time of all.
Me too. Do you know that it's story time? I knew you did. Just the question, though, which one to tell? Which one? Which one? I know. Story Stuff, can you help me with my story today?
Sure, book girl. Help yourself. I love story time too. Yeah, you're tickling.
Thanks, Story Stuff. This is a story about a little girl named Sarah. And I think I want to tell this story over in my story room. This is a place where anything can happen. It's filled with animals and people and imaginary places. And my bed. And it just so happens that today's story is about Sarah and her bed. So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Sarah. Sarah had a big imagination, and she loved to crawl under the covers and dream her dreams. One night, she heard a noise. It was a little noise. What was that? Thought Sarah. It's probably nothing, just the wind outside. And she crawled back under the covers. Then she heard it again. that wasn't a little noise. That was a big noise. And she sat and she thought and she listened and she wondered. And you know what happens when you start to think and listen and wonder. That's right, your imagination runs away with you. And Sarah had a big imagination. So in Sarah's big imagination, that little noise became a big noise, and it was coming from underneath her bed. "Oh my," said Sarah's big imagination. "Oh my, what's underneath my bed?" And she pulled the covers way over her head. And then she heard it. But it wasn't the sound her imagination expected. "Meow," said the sound. "Meow? That's not the sound of a monster under my bed. That's not the sound of... That's the sound of my kitty cat. Oh, kitty cat. I scared myself because of you." And with that, Sarah and her big imagination and her kitty cat snuggled in bed to dream her dreams. The end.
I was scared for a little bit there, Book Girl.
That was your imagination, Clarence. Thanks, Story Stuff.
You're welcome, Book Girl.
That's not my imagination, Book Girl. That means it's time to go.
So soon?
But don't worry, guys, because we'll be back.
That's right. We will see you at the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
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 Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I am just bursting to tell today's story. It's a rhyming story. That's when two words sound alike. This is the story about Peter and Paul. One was quite big and the other quite small. Hey, Clarence, you're big. Why don't you be Peter?
Sure, Book Girl.
But who could be small?
Oh, me! Pick me, Book Girl. I'm small.
Okay, Doorbell, you can be Paul. So get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. This is a story about Peter and Paul. One was quite big and the other quite small.
I'm big, large, and grand.
Peter would say,
When you see me coming, get out of my way.
I'm small.
said Paul.
That's what I am. I'm teeny and tiny, not nearly so grand.
Now Peter, the big one, was walking one day in his large, rather tall, rather big sort of way. And walking beside him was Paul, who was small. He would run, he would jump, but sometimes he'd fall.
You're so tiny, so puny, so short, and so squat. Why try to follow when you can't keep up?
And there on the ground, little Paul, he did cry.
Why am I small?
He yelled up to the sky. Because that's what you are, it's what you should be, said a voice calling back past the top of the trees.
Who are you?
Asked Paul of the voice past the trees. I'm a genie, a sprite, take your pick if you please. Whatever you call me, it's no matter at all. I'm here 'cause I heard your big cry to be tall.
Oh, yes!
Shouted Paul.
Make me taller, yes, please. Make me taller than Peter. Show him not to tease.
And with that, the sprite did what his magic could do. Paul started to grow, and he grew, and he grew.
I'm bigger, I'm stronger than Peter.
said Paul.
I'll show him who can play. I'll show him who is small.
Now Peter, the tall one, ran from small Paul, only now, next to Paul, Peter was small.
How does it feel to be smaller than me?
Said Paul from way past the top of the trees. But the answer he got was not what he thought his brother would say now that he'd been caught.
I was mean, it is true.
Said Peter to Paul.
Not because I was big, but because you were small. When I was small, I was once, yes, it's true. I was teeny and tiny, much smaller than you. I got hugs, I could sleep any time of the day. No school, no work, lots of love, lots of play. Don't wish to be big,
said Peter to Paul.
It's great to be small, it's much better than tall.
Paul thought and he thought, then he called to the sprite.
Please make me small again. Brother Peter was right. I want to be small, I wish to be me.
And like that, Paul shrunk down past the top of the trees. That is the story. It's over, it's true. Just be yourself, be happy you're you.
That was the best rhyming story ever, Book Girl. But that's all the time we have for now.
Well, thank you, Clarence, and thank you, Doorbell. And we will see you at the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
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 Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book. And I want it to be your special book, too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I can't wait to tell today's story. It's a story about... Oh, my.
What's wrong, Book Girl?
I lost it. I had my story to tell, and then... poof! It went away. I've lost my story and everybody's waiting for me.
Calm down, Book Girl. The best way to find something is to start at the beginning. Think hard and then maybe you'll remember.
Right. Okay, I think it had something to do with a number. But which one? I know. Let's ask Story Stuff. Hi, Story Stuff.
Hello, Book Girl.
Will you help me remember my story today?
Well, I could try. Open me up and look inside.
There's nothing in here.
Look harder, Book Girl. I feel something in here, and it tickles.
Okay, here goes nothing. Oh, wait, I think I see something. Mittens. Mittens. That still doesn't help me remember my story. Maybe Mailbox will have something for me. Hi, Mailbox. Do you have something for me?
Whoa. Oh.
Nope, nothing's there. I'm stuck.
Don't be so sure. I have a delivery.
But there was nothing in there just a moment ago.
I said I have a delivery. Look again.
Okay, here goes nothing.
Whoa, oh, oh, careful.
Hey, thanks, Mailbox. It's a little kitten. Mitten, kitten, kitten, mitten. I remember! It's a story about 3 little kittens and their mittens. So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. 3 little kittens lost their mittens, and they began to cry. Oh, Mother dear, see here, our mittens we have lost. You lost your mittens, you naughty kittens. Now you shall have no pie.
No pie for the kittens? Poor kittens.
Don't worry, Clarence, it's not over yet. 3 little kittens found their mittens, and they began to sigh. Oh, Mother dear, see here, our mittens we have found. You found your mittens, you darling kittens. Now you shall have some pie. The end. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered my story. I'm so happy.
I'm glad you remembered it too, Book Girl, but it's time to go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Clarence, and thank you, Mailbox. And we will see you at the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Book Girl, and this is my special book. And I want it to be your special book, too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I think you're going to really like today's story. It has one of my favorite things in it. Ice cream.
Well, I like ice cream.
Me too, Clarence.
Hey, Book Girl.
Yeah, story stuff?
Book Girl, I think I have some things that might help your story. Look inside.
Oh, let's have a peek. Oh, I think I see what you mean, story stuff. There's a hot dog, a banana, and an ice cream cone. Thanks, story stuff. This is a story about a little boy named Nicholas and his trip to the zoo. Clarence, would you like to be the zookeeper?
Sure, Book Girl.
Mailbox, would you like to be Mr. Alligator?
Well, all right, if you insist.
Doorbell, would you like to be Monkey?
Oh, sure, Book Girl. That sounds like fun.
Great! So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Nicholas. He loved to go to the zoo. And one day he ran into the zookeeper, and the zookeeper said,
Nicholas, I know how much you love the zoo. Would you like to help me feed the animals?
Oh, yes, yes, yes! I would love to help you feed the animals, zookeeper. And he gave him a hot dog, a banana, and an ice cream cone. That ice cream cone sure looked good. Nope, thought Nicholas. I am here to feed the animals, and that is what I will do. So he went along his way. Supper time, Nicholas called, and he ran into an alligator. Hello, Mr. Alligator. Are you hungry? I have a hot dog, a banana, and an ice cream cone.
I eat meat. Give me the hot dog and be quick about it.
Okay, Alligator. So he opened his jaw, and Nicholas threw in the hot dog, and he snapped his shiny teeth shut. Supper time, called Nicholas, and he saw a little monkey in a tree. Hi, little monkey. Would you like a banana or an ice cream cone to eat?
The banana, if you please. I live in the trees where the fruit grows. Fruit is what I eat.
So Nicholas threw the banana up into the tree, and the monkey ate happily. Supper time, called Nicholas again. But that was strange. Nobody answered. Supper time, he called again. And then he saw the zookeeper. Zookeeper, zookeeper, I gave the alligator the hot dog because he eats meat, and I gave the monkey the banana because she eats fruit. But what animal eats ice cream?
Nicholas, the ice cream is for you for doing such a good job feeding the animals.
Oh, thank you, zookeeper. And he took a big lick of his ice cream cone, and it tastes better than usual because he really earned it. The end.
That was fun, Book Girl, but it's time to go.
Oh, well, we will see you next, once upon a time, right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book, too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I hope you're ready for a story, because I am just bursting to tell one. How are you today, Clarence?
I'm really excited, Book Girl. I love story time.
I'm in a great mood, too. How are you? Good. Now, which story should I tell today? Which one? Which one? Oh, boy, this shelf is so high that I have to stretch up and up on my tippy toes. I wish I was taller. Hey, that reminds me of a story about someone who never wished she was taller. It's a story about a giraffe named Josephine. Do you know what a giraffe looks like? Maybe Mailbox can help us out. Hi, Mailbox. Do you think you could get us a giraffe?
Did you say giraffe?
Yeah, I want to show everyone what a giraffe looks like.
Very well, I'll see what I can do.
Great. Now, while we're waiting, maybe we could draw a picture of a giraffe. A giraffe has 4 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a body. And what am I missing? Clarence, what else does a giraffe have?
A very long neck, Bucko.
Right, a very long neck. And that's not quite right yet. There's something else. What is it? Do you know? Right! Spots! A giraffe has spots. Spots, 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 spots.
I have a delivery.
Great!
No, not here, at the door.
Oh, okay. It's a giraffe! This is what a giraffe looks like. Thanks, mailbox.
Don't mention it.
So get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little giraffe named Josephine who was looking for a job. She wanted to drive a taxi, but the taxi driver said, "With a neck as long as yours, you'll never fit in the car." And he laughed and drove away. She wanted to work in an ice cream shop, but because of her long neck, she couldn't even fit in the door. Josephine was very sad.
Excuse me.
She looked up and saw a little man.
I couldn't help but notice your very long neck.
"Please don't laugh at my long neck," said Josephine. "I can't get a job because of it."
Wait, I'm not here to laugh at your long neck. I'm here to offer you a job because of your long neck.
And the man gave her the job. And can you guess what it was? I bet you can. Josephine washes the windows on very tall buildings. The perfect job for Josephine, just the way she is. The end.
It's time to go, Bucko.
Oh, that was fast.
But don't worry, we'll be back.
That's right. Thank you, Clarence. Thank you, Mailbox. And thank you, Doorbell. We will see you next Once Upon a Time in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! And I think you're gonna love today's story. It's about a little girl who never knew what time it was.
I know what time it is, Bucko. It's story time.
That's right, Clarence. Hey, and you are perfect to help me out with today's story. Who knows more about time than a clock? So every time I say the word clock, I want you to ring your bells. Do you think you can do that for me?
Sure, Bucko. That sounds like fun.
Great. So get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Chloe. Chloe was a funny little girl because she never, ever knew what time it was. She would go to bed at lunchtime and wanted to play at bedtime. In the wintertime, she would go swimming, and in the summertime, she wore a big fuzzy coat. One morning, when the school bus came, she was still wearing her pajamas and holding her favorite teddy bear. "Chloe," said her mother, "don't you know what time it is?" And Chloe thought, "No, Mom. I don't know what time it is." So, for her birthday, Chloe was given a clock. Good, Clarence. "What's that?" asked Chloe. "That's a clock," said her dad. "Every time it rings, it will tell you what time it is." "Wow," said Chloe. "I love my present. I'm going to take it everywhere I go." When it would ring, Chloe would ask, "What time is it?" And the clock would say, "It's supper time." And for the first time ever, Chloe was ready when supper was ready. Then the clock would ring, and Chloe would say, "What time it is?" And the clock would say, "It's bedtime." And sure enough, the stars were twinkling in the sky and the moon was out and it was time for bed. Then one day, Chloe went to school and forgot her clock. Gotcha! And when it was time for lunch, Chloe was ready for lunch. And when it was time to go home, Chloe was ready to go home. And when it was time for bed, Chloe was ready for bed. Wait a minute, thought Chloe. I don't have my clock. And then she realized, I know what time it is. I've learned to tell the time. And she had. The end. Hey, Clarence. How come you rang the bell? I didn't say clock.
Because I know what time it is too, book girl. It's time to go.
Oh, no. Well, we will see you the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! I'm so glad it's story time. And I have a silly one for you today. It's a funny story called a nursery rhyme, but I need some help first. Hi, Story Stuff. Do you have something for me today?
I sure do, Book Girl. Reach inside, but don't tickle.
Okay, here I go. Oh, I think I do see something. Oh, my. It's a mouse and an egg. An egg and a mouse. I know a nursery rhyme about a mouse. Thanks, Story Stuff. Mailbox, will you hold this for me?
All right. Oh.
Clarence, I want to tell a nursery rhyme about my little mouse. Do you think you could help me?
Sure, book girl. As long as we have a story to tell, I'd be happy to help.
Great. So get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one. The mouse ran down, hickory dickory dock. That's such a silly little rhyme. Let's do it again. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one. The mouse ran down, hickory dickory dock. Oh, that's so much fun. Thank you, Clarence. And thank you, Mr. Mouse. Rhymes are when two words sound the same. Can you think of a rhyme? Like, what about the word silly? What rhymes with silly? Silly, I know, Silly Billy. Billy was silly. Here's another rhyme. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down, whoa, and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Oh, there's somebody at the door. Let's see who it is.
Hi, Book Girl. Here's a rhyme you'll like. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses, all the king men can put Dumpty together again.
Thank you. That was a silly rhyme. And it had an egg in it. And Story Stuff gave me an egg.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, Mailbox.
no problem. Oh, careful.
Oh. This could be Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Woo! All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Oh, poor Humpty. Thanks, Story Stuff.
Glad to help, Book Girl. Sorry about Humpty.
Me too. And thank you, Mailbox.
Well, don't mention it.
That's all the time we have for today, book girl. But don't worry, because we'll be back.
That's right. We will see you here at the next Once Upon a Time, right here in my special book.
That's right. Bye-bye.
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 Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! I'm so glad it's story time. But which story should I tell today? There are so many stories to tell. Which one? Which one? Hey, there's someone at the door. Maybe they'll have an idea of a story I can tell.
Hi, Book Girl. Can you tell me a fairy tale about a princess?
Thank you! That's a great idea! I love telling fairy tales. I'm going to tell a fairy tale about a princess named Lilibel. Clarence, would you like to be the prince from the north?
Sure, Bucko.
Great! Mailbox, would you like to be the prince from the south?
Well, no problem.
You can be the prince from the east, Doorbell.
Sure, Book Girl.
And Story Stuff, would you like to be the prince from the west?
A prince? That sounds like fun, Book Girl.
Great! And I get to be Princess Lilibel. So, get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a princess named Lilibel. She lived in a faraway kingdom in a beautiful castle. It was time for Princess Lilibel to get married. So word went out across the kingdom, and princes came from far and wide to win her heart. When they arrived, Princess Lilibel stood before them. "If we were to have a child," she said, "what would you give to it?" The prince from the north stood up and said,
Princess, if you were to take me to be your husband, I would give our child riches, gold, and jewels.
The prince from the south stood up and said,
If you were to take me to be your husband, I would give our child great beauty, golden hair, and eyes as blue as the ocean.
The prince from the east stood up and said, "That's you, Doorbell."
Oh, if you were to take me as your husband, I would give our child, great knowledge. Our child would be the smartest child in the whole world.
The prince from the west was the last to speak. Princess Lilibel stood before him. "You have heard what the other princes have said. They have promised wealth and knowledge and beauty. What would you give our child if we had one?" And the prince from the west thought for a moment, and then he said,
If you were to take me to be your husband, I would give our child the gift of happiness. What is beauty and knowledge and money if there is no happiness?
"You are very wise," said Princess Lilibel. "You shall be my prince." Mwah!
Oh, shucks.
And they lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, I love telling fairy stories. Thank you so much.
Book Girl, it's time to go.
Oh, but that's okay, Clarence, because we will be back. We will see you at the next Once Upon a Time, right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Book Girl, and this is my special book, and I want it to be your special book too. So come on in. It's story time! It's story time! I'm so glad it's story time. Hey, Clarence!
Hello, Book Girl.
Which story should I tell today? Which one? Which one? Hey, I wonder if Story Stuff has any ideas. Hi, Story Stuff.
Oh, sorry, Book Girl. I'm very sleepy today.
Oh, well, sleepy or not, we need a story. It's story time. Let's have a look. Nope, doesn't seem to be anything in here. Wait a minute. It's so small, it's easy to miss. Looks like a seed or something. I wonder what it could be. Hey, there's someone at the door. Let's see if they have an idea for a story.
Hi, Book Girl. Can you tell us a story about the princess and the pea?
What a great idea! Hey, and that's what this is. It's a pea. So come over to my story room for The Princess and the Pea. get comfy, find your listening spot, and let's have some fun. Once upon a time, there was a prince who lived in a castle. He wanted to get married, but only a princess could marry a prince. And this prince had fallen in love with a servant girl. "No son of mine shall ever marry a servant girl," said the queen. "But I love her. It is she who I would like to marry," said the prince. "And if I can find a way to prove that she is as delicate as a princess, will you let me marry her then?" "Very well," said the queen, "but I will pick the test." And the queen picked the hardest test ever. She took a pea and slipped it underneath the mattress of the servant girl. "You are not delicate enough to feel a pea underneath your mattress. Ha! You will never marry my son. Ha ha ha!" The next day, the queen called for the servant girl to come and see her, and the prince was there too. "You are here because my son wishes to marry you." "I wish to marry him too," said the servant girl. "He is my true love." And then it happened. The servant girl yawned. A big, wide, sleepy-head yawn. "I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I couldn't sleep last night. My bed was so very uncomfortable, and when I looked to find out what was causing my discomfort, I found this." And there was the pea. "She has passed the test," said the prince. "I will now marry my true love." And he did. The end.
Oh, book girl, I really like stories with happy endings.
Me too, Clarence. Wasn't that fun?
Oh no, book girl, time to go.
Oh, well, that's okay because we will see you at the next Once Upon a Time right here in my special book.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.